In Florida, things are not going smoothly. Take Martin County schools. It didn't even get through the first week of classes before more than 150 students and 11 staff were potentially exposed to COVID in 4 different schools. The students are now quarantined and learning remotely. On the other side of the state, in Tallahassee's Leon County, a single K-8 school has seen 3 people connected with the school die from COVID, and the principal himself has battled the virus. Joining me right now is that principal of the Fort Bradden School, Jimbo Jackson. Principal, thank you so much for being here. You are required by the state to reopen, offering students in-person learning. But you have made very clear, Principal, that you hope all families still choose to stay home and start the school year learning online. Why is that?
Well, thank you, Kate, for reaching out to us today. I think our greatest concern is the safety of our staff and our students and our connected school families. With our recent state mandate to have face-to-face and brick-and-mortar learning, we have extreme concerns, but more importantly because we're no longer just a number and just a statistic, losing 2 active staff members and then a relative of one of our staff members and former employee has hit really close to home.
No kidding. I mean, essentially, though, Principal, are you saying to families, you should not trust the system? We are not prepared right now. Is that correct?
No, I can't say that. What I can say is that the recent trend or the numbers have gone down. But we also know that during the time period from August 1st to August 14th, the positive rates for children that were 18 and under is now at 14% over that 2-week period. That then would probably indicate that there is still a significant risk. I think the CDC has recommended that schools can return once the positivity rate in a county or in a district or municipality is under 5% for 14 consecutive days. Those are our biggest concerns, that and ensuring the safety of staff, paraprofessionals, support staff, and our students who travel back and forth to homes each day that may have folks that are compromised health-wise.
And you have just mentioned this, but you have a very unique perspective in all of this. 3 people connected to the school have died of COVID. As I'm reading, one of them is a 19-year-old custodian, his mother, and also the person who manages after-school programming at the school. That is a tragedy, and that was all in July. On top of that, in July, you and your wife got COVID. How has all of this changed your view on the school year?
I think that it has heightened and made me more aware. In my other role as a local county commissioner, we have established a local mask mandate, but more importantly, as a school principal and someone responsible for all of these folks, in anticipation of nearly 450 kids returning to our school campus. 450 kids and staff members returning to our campus on August 31st. We have a great concern about their safety. The last thing that I want is to have another employee or even worse, a child to become either seriously ill or possibly experience a fatal case of COVID-19.
And look, just to put a fine point on it, with the direction that things are in the state right now, as you kind of point out the direction things are going, can you guarantee that that is not going to happen when students come back into your school in 2 weeks?
I think that our district has done a really great job. Our local school district here has done a great job being faced with the statewide mandate or lose funding. I think it comes to about $182 million for our particular district that we would be basically bankrupt if those funds were pulled. Our district has done a phenomenal job of preparing as much as possible. But as I've mentioned before, you can't prepare for a unseen assailant or a unseen intruder. We do all types of drills for emergencies and tornadoes and fires and even active school shooters. But there is no foolproof way to have a drill to avoid a COVID-19 infection. And going through that personally and being fairly incapacitated for about 13 days, has given me even more understanding, as well as walking through the funerals and the memorial services with families of these three people that were very dear to us.
Oh, that breaks my heart. You are in an impossible position. I mean, as I'm kind of listening to you, what do you say to the governor and honestly the state education commissioner about the position that you and the entire school is in and the pressure that you're feeling from the state? You could be bankrupt without the funding, but you also know that it's not safe for people to be it's not safe enough for people to be in-person learning.
I would say that, again, our district and our school superintendent, Rocky Hanna, have shown incredible leadership during this time, being faced with kind of a enforced mandate to offer brick and mortar experiences. Schools are in and of themselves a social experience. Our children, we will have to retrain them, and even as young as kindergarten, 4 and 5 years old, to not socialize with each other, to not have tag games, to not borrow supplies from each other. Those are things that become really difficult to mitigate in a school social setting. I don't know exactly the right answers, and I wish I did, because if I did, I could share with all of the principals and superintendents all over our nation. It will be a very difficult challenge, but I'm lucky to have some of the very best teachers and staff anywhere that will help me to walk this difficult challenge together.
Well, Principal, first and foremost, I'm so sorry for your loss and the school community's loss of three people who are clearly very dear to you. Thank you for what you're doing and for being in it together with the teachers and the students and all the families trying to get this right in really difficult circumstances. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. We look forward to a great school year, and hopefully we won't have to rely on luck and happenstance to keep everyone safe.
No kidding. Your lips to God's ears. Thank you, sir.